Welcome to our Lunchtime Live show on WJEJ. It's a partnership with Washington County Public Schools, the third Thursday of the month. This is Will Kaufman from the Public Information Office. Today's show is sponsored by Hagerstown Honda. They jump in on this May show every year because they're one of the primary sponsors of the Teacher of the Year program in conjunction with the school system and with the Hagerstown Washington County Chamber of Commerce. It is all a part of the Teacher of the Year program in Washington County, and lo and behold, the Teacher of the Year is with us. It generally works out that we have that person as the guest every year at this time. Carolyn Holcomb, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's
welcome to the
be
show.
Here.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. Talk about that night, the night of the dinner, the night of the announcement, you know.
Well, this was my third time being in that position.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're the bride today.
I
not
was
the bridesmaid.
I was really ready to change my name to Susan Lucci, and I really didn't think when I met all the other incredible finalists and heard their backgrounds. I actually told everyone at my Western Heights table, I said, guys, you know, I'm pretty sure I didn't get it again, and it's okay. You know, this is all good. These people are fantastic people, and every year the right person was picked, and so don't worry if I don't get it. And when they called Western Heights, nobody even heard my name at the table. We all just started screaming, and I went up and for about 15 seconds, you know, as people who know me know I'm not often at a loss for words, but I really was, because I just had, it was just incredulous. And then a wonderful feeling, and a lot of humility, and thinking of all the people that I credit for getting me into this position. I credit everyone who's helped me along the way, Mike Kahanick, who hired me, and then all the teachers and the lead teachers of Western Heights who have really taught me all the great things of how to be a great teacher. And then all the students. I've learned so incredibly much from the students in Washington County and at Western Heights. And they have definitely incrementally shaped me every day. And so this was a team win. This was not an individual win. This was a Western Heights win. This was me just being able to represent all the incredible things that are going on at our school. Do
you prepare something in the case of a program like that?
In case I
mean, you're down to a handful of folks, so I mean, there's some chance that any of you, all of you are winners. I mean, it's not even a cliche, because you really are. I mean,
absolutely.
You're representing the teaching community in the county and in the county school system. So there aren't any. There aren't any chumps who are part of the process, that's for sure. Right. But I'm just wondering whether, I mean, because like the Academy Awards, did you thank everybody imaginable and you were ready for that just in case, or off the top of your head?
Every year they tell you to prepare a thing, and every year I ignore it for a couple of reasons. One, you got to jinx yourself when you do that. Two, spending the time thinking about all that and then not getting it is just really hard. And I know myself, and I've never had a problem coming up with something to say. I mean, teachers are professional speakers. They really are. So I allowed myself to think and reflect on how did I get here? And so I thought about that. You know, I knew where I started at Western Heights, and it was with Mike. And I knew who allowed me to continue, and that was Matt Mariello. And then who taught me all these other great skills, and it was all the teachers and the lead teachers, Amy Hilliard and Jody Smith. So, and a lot of them were at my table, so all I had to do was kind of like look and name them and thank them, and that was it. So no, I didn't really prepare.
Right. After the dinner and the hoopla and all of the excitement, the Teacher of the Year program is a very busy one for the person who's selected. Give us a run-through of what's to come now.
It definitely is busy. I did not sleep. I mean, how do you go home and go to sleep thinking of all those things and what is to come, and not really knowing what is to come? The former Teacher of the Year gave a preview of what his year had been, and listening to it And not thinking I had won, I was like, man, this really stinks I didn't win again because this sounds so incredible. I really want to experience it. And I wasn't mad before, but now I'm really mad I'm not going to get it. But honestly, Washington County perhaps is one of the later counties to announce who is the Teacher of the Year. And there's good things to that, and there's bad things. And the bad thing is there are deadlines to be met for the state competition. So within a week, I had to have jumped through a lot of hoops. And so I felt like I didn't get to be as excited as I wanted to, as much as, oh my gosh, now I have to do this. So yeah, I had to get forms done, I had to get my portrait done, had to make a 100-word bio. And the older you get, the harder it is to condense your life into 100 words. And we have the state recognition next Tuesday. So I had to answer 5 pretty intense questions. And so I'm hoping, once my packet's done and I go to the Tuesday celebration, someone's going to tell me what the rest of the year looks like, because no one's given me a schedule. No one has done that. I'm assuming it involves a lot of wonderful things and meeting a lot of wonderful people. And so that's all good. So I think the tough part is right now, and I think the fun part's going to be the rest of the year.
Do you manage your own Teacher of the Year schedule? I mean, do you have a Teacher of the Year handler, or do you have like an agent, or how does that? Because there's a lot of detail work. There are a lot of dates. There are a lot of deadlines. There are a lot of meetings here and away from here.
So I have some good resources, and one of them is Michelle Jacoby, and she's wonderful. And I have the former Teachers of the Year who have been wonderful in reaching out to me and saying, absolutely will help you. I was given a half day to go sit with Courtney Leard at her school, and she just helped me, just little things like, okay, these are the events I went to, and this is what I wore, so that I would know how not to embarrass everybody. So, she's a great resource, and everyone has been helpful, and I just email them when I have questions, and I'm, right now I'm stumbling through.
When is the state Teacher of the Year? What's the state teacher? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The actual program, the dinner where...
So I have to write responses to 5 questions. I will submit that on Tuesday in a portfolio. From those responses, they will select the finalists from the state, and it's based solely on that. And I don't know how many finalists there are. Right. And then I believe they announced that perhaps in August, and then you start jumping through more hoops for that competition. Right. So, but I'm not going to think about that. I got my responses written, and I'm just going to enjoy.
Do you have? You're ready to go. There's no.
I'm ready.
There's no last-minute review. There's no 11th hour. Oh, yeah, maybe this would sound better this way.
What do we always tell our students? Edit. Right. So I edit. I had a peer edit for me, and I'll continue to edit. And then maybe Sunday night I'll print it out and put it in my binder, and I'm good to go.
Do you have any feel for the balance between your day-to-day work, which is mainly why you're the Teacher of the Year, and Teacher of the Year responsibilities?
So that's the trick in being a successful teacher, is just balance of everything. Teachers tend to put their students first, and then we feel real guilty because we didn't put our families first or our own children first. And then when we do that, we start feeling guilty that we're not putting our students first. So, my whole 15-year career has been trying to find the balance. And in all of that, you don't mention yourself. So where's the balance to yourself so that you can be a good teacher and a good wife and a good parent? So, we're always trying to find balance. And you learn how to become more organized. You learn perhaps better what matters and what doesn't matter, and you let those things that don't matter go by the wayside a little bit so that you can focus more on what does matter. But it's exactly what you said. It's balance and juggling.
Right. If you're just joining us, Carolyn Holcomb is our guest, Teacher of the Year here in Washington County. Recently announced, and the journey now has begun. She's our special guest on Lunchtime Live, sponsored today by Hagerstown Honda, a big supporter not only of public education and our show each year, but also a primary sponsor in the Teacher of the Year program in partnership with the Hagerstown, Washington County Chamber of Commerce. It's a nice ride. That's your.
Let me tell
nice
you,
ride
I was going to ask if I could interject that, because
I mean, we can be shameless about the sponsorship.
As soon as I won, and I'm just like awestruck, they're putting keys in my hand.
Oh yeah. At that point, I mean, it's not about the kids or the support. It's about the car.
Look, I had always said, "Oh, I don't need it. I've got a fine car. My old little, 2007 Isuzu. It gets me to and from work.
Really?
What else do I need?"
Really?
Yeah, it does. And so, but barely.
Right.
But let me tell you, I was so shocked because not only did I get keys, but no one asked, "You do know how to drive? Or can you please sign this?"
or any related questions.
Let us show you the car. It was like, "Here's your car, go home."
Right.
And my first question was, "But I drove here. What do I do with my other car?"
Right.
And then they didn't have a key. I'd never had a car. They didn't have a key. I didn't know what to do. And it was just like they met me in the parking lot and said, "Go." And my daughter was there with me. And I drove her to her car, and it was just a very surreal thing to be in a luxury car I'd never been in. And this doesn't happen in every county. I think this might be a unique thing. The fact that Honda does this is really wonderful. Teachers don't often feel we don't often, I don't want to say we don't feel respected, but we don't have a glamour job. We don't. And it's becoming more and more unglamorous. And, you get those phrases once in a while you hear, if you can't do, you teach. As if this is the default career. And they made me feel like you are something special. And it was really nice. And they invited me to come to their showroom on Saturday, a couple of days later, and I did. And all of their workers, it was like I was some superstar, They came out to thank me and wow, you won. And I'm like, wow, this is really unusual.
That's great.
And it was a great feeling, and it's just so wonderful. And I really thank them. And, honestly, it is a brilliant marketing thing on their end, because they know I can never go back to my Suzuki.
Yeah.
I can never go back.
Yeah, that 07 is looking like it's truly on its last legs.
Absolutely. And, my husband was ready to buy that car for me the next day to see how happy I am.
Right.
And every time, I get into that car, I think, this is really nice. But again, it was a team win, so when I drove to Western Heights the next day, I left the whole thing unlocked.
Yeah,
so
you're now the carpool.
You're
the Western Heights
could
carpool. Yeah, designated driver.
It's just wonderful, and I thank them so much.
There were other resources that there are other winnings. Let's say
Chick-fil-A.
That's not. Yeah. Oh, Chick-fil-A for a year.
For a year.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. So.
You'll be looking good in the drive-through lane all year at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you, I will be, the nicest car going through that drive-through. But of course, I can't eat in that car because it's too nice.
Right.
I'm not eating.
There are so many more challenges than we even thought about.
No, but it was wonderful of Chick-fil-A, and there's a $5,000 technology grant, which anybody who knows me kind of laughs, because I was a self-avowed technotard at my school for a long time. But the county actually does such a wonderful job providing us technology. All my students have iPads. They give me the MacBook. I'm really having a hard time figuring out what to do.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you do with that $5,000?
I actually told the person who contacted me, I said, can I do this over the summer? Because I have no idea. I have a couple toys, science toys. I'm a science teacher. Right. So I have a couple science things I want to go. But the county has done an amazing job supplying the schools with everything. So it'll be interesting.
Sort of a positive place to be, that you can sort of pile on technology on existing stuff.
Think how many teachers would say, now I'm going to get my class a classroom set of iPads or
finally.
Computers. Finally.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything. I really lack I don't lack for anything. That's how I should say it.
Right. Tell us about teaching science and teaching science in middle school. Well, tell us about teaching middle school. Then we'll do science.
Which one do you want? Which one? Do you want?
Let's.
First of all, I've taught every subject with the exception of languages, and gym. I can't say I taught gym either.
Right.
But I used to teach 5th grade, and that was a self-contained classroom. And then in my other school, I was in Frederick County, so I also taught math, science, and I love all of it. Every subject, there's great things. But science, you get to be the wacky, crazy teacher. You get to be the Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus. So actually, I'm not answering the question in the order that you wanted.
It's okay.
I'm going to just start talking.
No, you
science.
just go. Yeah.
So I love. There's so many magic tricks and wows and ways to grab attention with science. All you have to do is talk about body fluids, anything gross. You light something on fire, you blow things up.
The wow factor is not exclusive to kids on those subjects either, just so you know. But.
Oh, absolutely. I always do everything with the other teachers in the building before.
Right.
You got to practice on someone and get it right. So, no, absolutely. We adults love these, and so I get to do this and find creative things. And the reality is our future is, everything. I always challenge them on the first day. I always try to create a little bit of division amongst the teachers in a fun way and say, I know the English teacher is going to tell you that reading and writing is important. The math teacher is going to tell you that. However, you can't think of a single topic in this world that is not science related. You can't. And they try to stump me. Absolutely everything has to do with science. And then I explain, now you're living, for the rest of your life, you're going to be a biological form and you're going to live on an abiotic planet. You should know something about it, because your body's not leaving this planet, chances are.
I love the possible headlines, though. Teacher of the Year trash talks other departments.
Absolutely.
Other teachers, other departments.
Whatever it takes to make you the most popular one. But we know it, and so the English teachers are in on it as well, and so they'll trash talk me and try to say, if you didn't have English or books, you couldn't read your science books, et cetera, et cetera. So we go back and forth. This week I did admit, though, I said, do not tell the English teachers I ever admitted this, but writing will be the most important skill because you will have to be literate and write well the rest of your life. And so,
you do merit science, too.
I do.
For folks who don't know the difference, what
merit is at a faster pace.
Okay.
For someone who's going to get it a little bit faster. Next year, I am teaching both grade level and merit. And warning to all the grade level 7th graders, I intend to you're going to do everything my merit students are doing. I believe in bringing everybody up. I may accommodate in different ways, but they'll be doing the same material. There'll be no differentiation.
Right.
Well, I shouldn't say no differentiation. All the people at the board are having fits right now.
Right.
That's not what I mean. But I'm not dumbing down material. I'm very much against dumbing down material. Nobody benefits from that.
How do kids get into the merit classes, whether yours or anybody else? How does that work?
Test scores and performance.
Okay.
We have kids in the grade level, and I always encourage my grade level kids, if you want to be in my merit class, work for it. If you want it, work for it. If you show me that you're consistently getting A's in your grade level class, let's move you up. Let's give you more of a challenge. And so I've had students do that, and they're very successful because they had the attitude that you need to succeed in a merit level. And I have a lot of kids in merit that don't have the drive, and and I'd rather have those places filled by the kids that really want to be there and they want to. So as far as teaching middle school, it's crazy. I mean, what can you say? It's a crazy time of development in a human being, and your brain is rapidly changing. Your body's rapidly changing. Your body's usually rapidly changing faster than your brain, and you've got hormones you've never experienced before. It's just a mess of chemicals going through your body, And we've got to teach you to be a civilized person. So it's a wonderful challenge. Mike Kahanick, I refer to him a lot, and he used to be a science teacher in high school. And he said, a lot of teachers in middle school want to go to high school because you can kind of like take a deep breath. The people are more reasonable. They're more adult-like. You can rationalize with them perhaps a little bit better. He said, but middle school is where you make the biggest difference. Because by high school, they might be kind of fixed in their ways and their ideas. But middle school, they might be a little bit more pliable. And if you're willing to put in the work, you can shape them and influence them. And that's always been my goal. Put me where I can be most help to the students, and help them to develop to their best capacity.
How do you know? How do you know at the end of any day, at the end of a quarter, at the end of a school year? How do you know how you've done? Forget the teacher of the year. I mean, that's a different sort of evaluation. But how do you know you've had an impact on these middle school kids?
Absolutely. I reflect all the time. And the people who know my ability to teach better than anybody are the students. And I flat out ask them. I ask them every day. If I did a new lesson, at the beginning of the lesson, I'm going to tell them, I want to try this out on you. This is my goal. This is what I'm hoping to achieve. At the end, I need you to critique it. Was this good? Did it meet its goal? What do I need to improve the rest of the day for the other people coming in? What do I need to change so that they can understand this concept better? When you give some student the power, they take it very seriously, and they're always very they're critical when they need to be, but in a good way. At the end of the year, I ask them, let's have a discussion. What worked this year? What didn't work? And what do I need to do to change? What do I need to do to become a better teacher? And they've always given me great advice. I find their feedback much more helpful than some evaluator that came in and sees me maybe for one class period or half a class period. These kids know what I need to do to be better.
Well, if you trust the kids then, for instance, at the end of a school year, at the end of any recent school year, how about some of the critical feedback you've received where kids either haven't enjoyed something, haven't liked something, didn't like an approach, thought that something needed work, whether in the program itself or in you? Give me some examples of that.
Well, there's some advice I take and I change. I've had students say something very simple. You need to walk around the class more. You tend to stay in the front of the room. But if you walk to the back more, you'd see that the people in the back, need you to be back there. Right. That's very valid. That's a rookie mistake I shouldn't have been making. If they say, I really don't like this computer program you use, I have to evaluate, well, why am I using it? And if I have valid reasons for using it, and the reason they don't like it is because it's forcing them to be interactive, and they want to be passive learners. They don't want to interact. Most of the students want to sit there and you talk to them. And if they don't have to raise their hand, good, they can just sit there the whole time. But if you have an interactive program and they have to respond, and they know you're going to see their response, and they have to be a participant, they don't like that. And so when they tell me...
That goes against... That seems to go against your approach. That also seems to go against science, as a subject being taught and them receiving. Science seems interactive to me.
It is supposed to be interactive, but if I'm trying to engage them and I'm questioning and I'm trying to get them to think deeply about a concept, why is this happening? What does this mean? And they're like, I'm just going to sit here until someone answers for me or you're going to tell me, but I really don't want to raise my hand and I really don't want anybody to hear that I might have a wrong answer. And I'm going to be good, I'll be respectful, but I'm going to sit here. And in the programs that I use, called Nearpod, and I do want a kickback from Nearpod for saying this on the air.
God, you're more shameless than we are.
Completely and utterly.
Yeah.
They have to interact, and I see their responses in real time. And then I can see in an instant which of my 30 kids doesn't understand it, or I see instantly what are the misconceptions, and I can immediately address those. And so that's my go-to program right now, and I love it for a variety of reasons. And I have some students I don't. And when they said, well, we don't want you to use this, and I found out that was why, I said, too bad, because I know that this is the best way to teach, and I'm going to use it.
I'm talking with Carolyn Holcomb, the Washington County Public Schools Teacher of the Year, recently announced, and a good journey ahead over this next year representing Washington County, the teaching community, the schools, and the county in general as Teacher of the Year. Our show today is sponsored by Hagerstown Honda, a sponsor of the show and of public education, a supporter of public education, but also a primary sponsor of the Teacher of the Year program, and a partner with that, with the school system. Is the Hagerstown Washington County Chamber of Commerce. So thanks to Hagerstown Honda and the Chamber for their parts, not only in the show today, but in the Teacher of the Year program here in the county. From year one to today, how have you grown as a teacher? What's the difference in you as a teacher in those 15 years?
Where I was in year one, first of all, teaching is not my first career. I was a biologist. I took 11 years off to stay home with my 3 children. Then I went back and got my master's of education. And I taught in an all-girls private academy. So your ability to teach a group of maybe 8 girls in a classroom versus coming to Western Heights is a big change. I have 170 students.
Right.
So I think that where I've grown the most is recognizing an entirely different culture of wonderful people with entirely different needs, and understanding their behaviors were a symptom of what might be going on in their lives. That these were wonderful people, not bad kids. These were wonderful people who were going through perhaps terrible scenarios, and realizing I could make a difference in how I responded to them, and that I could change how they viewed school. I could change how they viewed education. I could change how they viewed themselves. I could change how they viewed their future. I had a lot of power, and every teacher does. And that's what I really want teachers to remember, how every day we have the power to change significant amounts of lives. Every day I teach over 100 students, or I interact with over 100 students. That's 100 opportunities to make someone's life better. And there could be no better job in the world than that, where you got to impact so many people so directly in such a positive way. What can possibly be better than that?
You have a unique opportunity, too, as a spokesperson for the county, for public education in general, for Western Heights. However you want to position yourself in that respect, or however you are positioned as the year plays out, to be able to put some opinions, some stances, some beliefs of yours, whether they represent you or the school system. Do you feel that opportunity, or do
Absolutely.
you have some energy about that?
That's actually what made me want to win for the first time. Before I was very honored, I was very humble, but certainly there was a better teacher out there. And then I realized and became so passionate about this idea of changing lives that I thought, okay, right now I'm stuck in the basement of a building. And people, my students might like me, and people in my school might like me. But if I ever want to be able to encourage other teachers, if I want to encourage new teachers who are in college still, I need some backing. It's a little late in my life to go back and get my PhD. You never know, I may still. But to be able to say I was Teacher of the Year, that gives me a little bit more of a platform, a little, perhaps in some people's minds, a little bit more respectability, even though I'm the same person I was a month ago. Now I have that behind me, and maybe people will listen a little bit more. But this is a burnout profession. The average lifespan of a teacher in this profession is 5 years. And that's at a school that isn't challenging. At a school that's more challenging, you're going to need different strategies to get through. and they exist, and we need to do a better job of perhaps encouraging our teachers. All we hear is the negatives in the education field. This is not right. These scores aren't high enough. We're not meeting these standards. Everything's changing. And it's time to start talking about what is good and what does work, and focus on those things. And what is good is that teachers are in a very powerful position to do very wonderful things, and that it is not out of the question to think that you can change the lives. We read these stories in Reader's Digest and we think, wow, what a great story. But we have the ability to be writers of our own story in our own little Reader's Digest every single day, whether we realize it or not. We plant seeds, and you may not see the results, but just have faith that, 10, 20 years from now, the seed you planted, that kid will remember what you said to them, for good or for bad. And so we have to be careful with our words and careful with our actions, because they'll remember the negative ones as well. Just like we have power to bring positive change to someone's life, we also have the power to bring negative change. And we always have to be agents for the positive change and rejoice in that. It's a great opportunity and a great thing. And I want teachers to hear some of the success stories we have at Western Heights, and to hear what a great opportunity they have.
I'm going to say thank you and congratulations again. I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's going to be busy. It's the end of a school year. It's the start of a year-long Teacher of the Year set of responsibilities for you. So I appreciate you taking the time to come in and do the show.
Well, thank you very much. It was a great privilege to be here.
Carolyn Holcomb is our Teacher of the Year in Washington County Public Schools. Today's show has been sponsored by Hagerstown Honda. Lunchtime Live is heard the third Thursday of the month at this time, a partnership between Washington County Public Schools and WJEJ.